5 Minute Mom. Hi, moms, women, ladies. I wanted to relay a story that it's not my story, it's a friend of mine's story, and I'm just going to get right into it. So, I was meeting a friend today to have a play date with our kids, and we had talked about 2 different parks that we could meet at, and in the middle of it, there was this miscommunication. So, I went to one park and she went to the other. And I texted her when we got there because I didn't see their van in the parking lot. And then she texted me back and said, we'll come right over. Well, all of a sudden then she's calling. And I answered the phone and I didn't think anything about it. We're talking. And she kept me on the phone for a few minutes. And as we're walking up to this park from the parking lot, and then she got here and she said, let me explain what was happening, because I didn't want to seem rude or anything when I was talking to you. And she said, we went out to this park, the one they went to, which was one of those parks that you have to go to intentionally. It's not off the main road. It's, set back a little ways. There's no other reason why you would be there. And she said she was there with her kids and they had just started playing, and she noticed a couple men kind of come off of a path to like the playground area and sit down at a picnic table. And they didn't have a vehicle. They didn't come to the parking lot. They just kind of came out of like a wooded area and sat down. And then she noticed another man come in and kind of approach from a different direction. So she couldn't look at all of them at the same time. And she said she had that feeling. I think most of you are going to know exactly what I'm talking about, but that sinking feeling, like when you're in an elevator and it drops too fast, that feeling in your stomach that something is wrong. And so she said, come on kids, let's go, and right then, like as that was happening is when I texted to say, I don't see your car in the lot. And then she called me so she would be on the phone with me. And as she's talking to me, she's telling her kids, get in the van. Come on, get in the van. We're going right now. And as she explained, she wanted to be on the phone with me just in case anything happened. And then when she got to the park with us and, explained what had happened, she was able to think about it. And she said, my gut feeling was one thing, but put together with these men on a weekday morning, being at a park with no kids. They clearly weren't there to exercise. They weren't dressed in exercise clothes. And the one was came from a walking trail and he was wearing a mask. And I don't know where you are. I mean, maybe it's like this in some places, but around here, we don't see people walking on walking trails or exercising by themselves wearing a mask. I don't see that. So anyway, all of those things put together made her decide to get out of the situation as quickly as possible. And it was just lucky that I happened to text and she was like, call her, get her on the phone. So you're on the phone with someone. And the other thing she said is, and she apologized, and I know she won't care if I share this story, especially if it helps some of you, but she apologized for saying this, but she's like, they had this look like they were maybe on something. And I'm like, you don't have to apologize, because I know exactly what you're talking about. There's this look in someone's eyes when they're not dealing with the reality that's before them, whether it's a psychological issue or it's a drug use issue. Those of you who have been around people that are on something, you can tell. You can tell in their eyes that something's off, or someone who's delusional. You can tell in their eyes that they're not checked in with reality. And so I just thought it was a good story to mention, not to scare you, but in her mind, she's here with her 5 kids. These guys easily could have taken her purse. She couldn't have done anything about it. They could have taken 1 or 2 of her kids. She could not have stopped them. So it's good to trust your instincts and to trust your intuition. And she got on the phone with me right away. To be on the phone with somebody, have your keys in hand, and get out of there as quickly as possible. And then when she got to the van, and I love that she did this, she talked to her kids about it as they're like driving to the park where we are. She talked to her kids about it and said, this is the reason we left, is because I sensed that something was wrong. Did you guys notice anything about the men that were there? And her kids started saying things that they had noticed. And it's good that she had that conversation with them to like be aware. And if you feel like you're in danger, don't second guess it. And here's the other point that I want to make. I feel like as women in today's world, as moms, we're taught to disregard our intuition. We're taught that it's racist, or we're afraid of homeless people, or it's always thrown, not always, but a lot of times it can be thrown back on us that we're helicopter moms, or we're, whatever. And I will say this, to the degree that you're preventing your child or yourself from living a normal, healthy life, yeah, it may be problematic. But that sinking gut feeling that something is wrong most of the time, right? And there are exceptions for real mental health issues. But for the majority of us as women and as mothers, if you have that roller coaster falling, elevator dropping feeling in your stomach, you need to get to safety. If you have your phone, you need to get on the phone with somebody. You need to put your keys in your hands and walk or run, whatever. Don't worry about looking stupid. If you have that feeling, that's a sign God created us with that. So get the hell out of there. Don't wait on it. So that's my message for today, that God has given us that, has created us with that for a reason. And so don't discount it. Don't disregard it. Don't talk yourself out of it. If you feel like you or your child is in danger, then do what you need to do as quickly as you can to fix that situation. And then learn from it, We live within a block of a grocery store. And we don't live in a horrible part of town, but, a couple streets over, it's not great. And it's pretty bad. And so I, walk up to the grocery store, and I had walked up like with one of my babies when I had a baby in a stroller to get some things, and wasn't paying attention to the time. So by the time I was leaving, it was dark outside. And here I am walking with the stroller with the bags hanging on the handles, and I was running into like a certain element of society that I'm not normally around. And in my head, I was like, okay, I need to be more aware of this. What am I going to do with my kid in a stroller? And it's only a block, but I walked pretty quickly home, and I made a decision then when I got in the door that I don't need to walk in the dark by myself or with like a baby in the stroller at night. I just don't need to do that. And granted, it was, summertime, so it was only like, 7 or 8 o'clock at night. So like it was 10 or 11 or something. But still, that is, you to take those as cues from your guardian angel to, be aware of your surroundings and trust your intuition. It is one of the biggest gifts God has given us as women. And I'm not sure, but I don't think it's equally distributed between men and women. I think most of the time women have a healthier dose of intuition, especially in times of danger. They have that. Now, there are men that are very intuitive, but I think, generally speaking, we're given that, and we're given that for our protection, and to, for our own protection and to protect our children. So that's it. Trust your intuition. Be confident in that. Don't let anybody make you feel ashamed or that you're doing something wrong. Just go with it. When you know it, and you should go with it. And I ask God to bless all of you in your intuition, that you can be confident and you can listen to those promptings that God has naturally given us. God bless you. Good measure, packed down and overflowing.